Welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on a beautiful Tuesday, August 11th, at least in northern Wisconsin, where we're recording this broadcast. I'm your host for today's program, Paul Domain. Many of the stories read here, can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com or our television site at IndianCountryTV.com. Here are the news stories for this day off of the wires and from other Native news sources. A retired pastor from Wisconsin has been ordered to forfeit some ancient weaponry after pleading guilty to trafficking in archaeological resources. 78-year-old John M. Shield also was fined $10,000 in U.S. District Court. Shield of Monona, Wisconsin, admitted dealing items he knew had been recovered from public and Indian lands. He is one of at least 5 people whom federal prosecutors in South Dakota have charged with similar activities. Shields is the first to be sentenced. Federal prosecutors accused the 5 of looting or trading ancient archaeological finds such as military items, gun flints, lead balls, bullets, and brass copper pieces. For the Lower Elwha Kalalam tribal members who have or still are working at the site of their ancestral village, Tse-whit-zen, the memory of unearthing 335 intact burials in 2003 and 2004 is fresh in their minds. And 5 years later, finding bones or bone fragments known as isolates of their ancestors at the site doesn't get much easier for them. Since the tribe began using a mechanical sifter last month to search for artifacts and other bone fragments through the remaining piles of soil that were dug from the ground during construction of what was to be a State Department of Transportation graving yard, a large dry dock facility, bones but no intact burials have been found. Once intact, the burials are believed to have been broken apart during more than 100 years of industrial activity, including during construction of the graving yard, which was intended to build replacement components for renovation of the Hood Canal Bridge. Construction of the graving yard was abandoned in December of 2004 after the over 300 intact burials and 64,793 artifacts were removed and uncovered from the site. While the bones will be reburied, the artifacts will be on display in a museum that is planned for the property. Members of the 3 affiliated tribes of North Dakota might vote this fall for a second time on a legal definition of tribal membership. Voters will decide whether to keep lineal descendancy, which requires that a tribal member be a child of an enrolled member. The other option would be eligibility based on blood quantum, or whether a person is 1/8 Mandan, Hidatsa, or Arikara. The tribe voted last year to change membership criteria to lineal descendancy, but tribal chairman Marcus Levines said many people thought the voter turnout of less than 1,800 members was too small to justify such a sweeping change. A second vote will be held this fall if enough members register to take part. Registration is currently taking place. The Interior Department has authorized the Bureau of Indian Affairs to hold an election if 30% of eligible voters are registered. Leonard Begay's journey from Hogan to homeowner was a long one. Begay, 32, recently moved his family of 7 from a 1-room Hogan on family land in Hiraforno into a 3-bedroom, 1,300 square foot home. The home, compliments of Indigenous community enterprises, came after a decade of struggling against medical odds. Begay's second oldest son, Xavier, was born with a rare chromosome abnormality. He wasn't expected to live past infancy. But Zephyr 12 is beating the odds, and his will to survive sparked an outpouring of empathy in his father that saved a life nearly 2,000 miles from his home on the Navajo Nation. Begay's contribution came in the form of a bone marrow donation. While he registered for the National Marrow Donor Program by swabbing the inside of his cheek for a DNA test, he had no idea how vital his donation would be. Alex Caesar of Juneau, Alaska, was 6 years old when he learned he needed a bone marrow transplant to survive. Caesar, whose battle with leukemia inspired a statewide drive for bone marrow in 2005, was without a donor after more than 1,000 Alaska residents registered. 3/4 Tlingit, none of the boy's family members was a close enough match. Begay was driving to work in the fall of the year 2006 when he got a phone call from a number he didn't recognize. He answered it, but the caller was silent. Begay said the caller later told him, "You don't know me, but my name is Rachel. I'm calling from Juneau, Alaska. Your bone marrow helped my son." Begay and his wife, Ray Begay, moved to a hand-built Hogan recently, 4 years ago, on family land. The family endured enough rough conditions in the one-room Hogan over the course of 4 years as they waited for a response for aid from Indigenous Community Enterprises. The nonprofit housing assistant organization works with low-income American Indian families. Many of the families they work with have qualifying medical or personal issues to deal with, said Hazel James, executive director of the Indigenous Community Enterprises. Families must also already have land site leases and access to utilities. In Begay's case, factors that contributed to a thumbs up on housing assistance, including his son's handicap and the man's donation to an Alaskan native up there in Juneau. One of those heartwarming stories, okay? In conjunction with a 2009 Indian Market, Wings of America and SWAIA will co-sponsor a 2-mile fun run walk on Sunday, August 23rd, 2009. Start and registration will be located on the dirt lot of the Santa Fe Indian School next to the Santa Fe Indian Hospital. The course travels north down Cerrillos Road and northeast on South Guadalupe to D. Vargas Park. Registration begins at 7 a.m. and the run walk will begin at 7:30 a.m. Wings of America is a nonprofit organization providing running clinics and related fitness programs to American Indian youth in North America. We read this before, but from a different angle, so we'll try it again, and we think it's an important piece of information. On Wednesday, August 12th, President Obama will honor 16 individuals he named to receive the 2009 Presidential Medal of Freedom, America's highest civilian honor. The Medal of Freedom is awarded to individuals who make an especially meritorious contribution to the security or national interest of the United States, world peace, culture, or other significant public or private endeavors. The following individuals who will receive the 2009 Presidential Medal of Freedom Award on August 12th include Harvey Milk, Sandra Day O'Connor, Sidney Potney, Cheetah Rivera, Mary Robinson, Janet Davidson Rowley, Desmond Tutu, Dr. Mohammed Yunus, Nancy Goodman Brinker, Pedro Jose Greer Jr., Stephen Hawkins, Jack Kemp, and Joe Medicine Crow, also known as Highbird. The 94-year-old Crow warrior went into battle wearing war paint beneath his World War II uniform and later emerged as an acclaimed Native American historian. Dr. Joseph Medicine Crow is the author of many works on Native American history and culture. In 1939, Medicine Crow became the first of his tribe, probably the first amongst many Native Americans across the country to receive a master's degree in anthropology. He is the oldest member of the Crow tribe and the tribe's sole surviving war chief, an honor bestowed for a series of accomplishments during World War II, including stealing 50 Nazi SS horses from a German camp and hand-to-hand combat with a German soldier whose life Medicine Crow spared. Spared the life of a soldier like a true warrior does when he counts coup. He is the last person alive to have received direct oral testimony from a participant in the Battle of the Little Bighorn because his grandfather was a scout for General George Armstrong Custer. A veteran of World War II, Medicine Crow accomplished during the war all of the 4 tasks required to become a war chief. Medicine Crow in 2008 was awarded a Bronze Star from the French government, the National Order of the Legion of Honor. He was nominated last year for the Congressional Gold Medal and has honorary doctorate degrees from the University of South Carolina. That all happens tomorrow on Wednesday, August 12th. And that is the latest edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank our underwriters for helping us with this broadcast and you for joining with us again. Miigwech, and have a great day.